Let me make something important clear to you. This isn't about judging whether religious or scientific beliefs are right or wrong. It's about weighing the possibilities. The possibility that the universe does have a creator and a purpose, or the possibility that all existence, the entire cosmos, is nothing more than a blind, purposeless accident, with no meaning or significance behind it. The possibility that after death we live again, or that it's all just myths and illusions of the past, and death is the end of everything. Now here is the question. When you don't have enough data to confirm or deny an event, how can you possibly affirm or reject it with certainty? And it seems that this is exactly the mistake science has made. Precisely when it comes to one of the most important questions of human life. And despite all its claims of being logical and free from bias, it seems that just to defeat its age-old rival, religion, and push it out of the arena, science has ironically adopted the very same dogmatic approach. And so, while it has no solid proof against the possibility of resurrection, judgment day, or eternal life, since it can't find any evidence in favor of it either, it inevitably rules it out, or at best, postpones the answer to the future. But when exactly is that future supposed to arrive? Science argues that many of the definitive answers we have today were once unanswered mysteries that puzzled humanity for centuries until progress, experimentation, and new methods turned those riddles into the simple formulas now taught in schools. So it feels natural for science to promise that one day it will also answer humanity's greatest questions about the purpose of life and the destiny of the universe. Let's suppose that 1,000 years from now, science can clearly explain where we came from, why we are here, and what happens after death. Okay, why 1,000? Even 100 years would be enough after all. The impossible is not impossible. But what good would that do for me or for my generation? Even if I am lucky enough to live 80 or 90 years, half of which I've already spent, I only have 30 or 40 years left at most. So how can I find comfort in a future I'll never live to see? A future science promises, but can't deliver to me? And this is exactly the problem. Modern science, despite all its undeniable achievements, falls silent before the most fundamental questions of my life, simply saying, for now, I don't know. Yet at the same time, it is certain that religion is false and unreliable, dismissing it as nothing more than myths and nonsense, and it expects me to trust this conclusion. But what if just 1% chance science is wrong, and like many of its past theories, it changes over time? What happens to me then, the one who trusted it and abandoned faith? Who will repay me for the lifetime I lost? And if Judgment Day really does come, as religion promises, and eternal punishment awaits the deniers, then who will I hold accountable? And this is where doubt begins to replace trust. Just hearing the descriptions of what happens in hell is enough to send shivers down the spine of any thinking person. So my question is, what exactly is our fate in all this? How can we possibly find the truth amid this endless battle between science and religion? A truth that has become the casualty of two sides, both more interested in proving their own superiority than guiding humanity towards salvation. Unfortunately, we're stuck in a place where we're forced to choose between the two, because they themselves have built this false dichotomy. Either you choose religion, Or you choose science, religion, which claims to be connected to the creator of existence and declares, "This world is only a prelude, the true destination is eternity." Yet at the same time, when it speaks of the universe and human creation, it is filled with stories that sound more like legends than real, observable facts. Or we choose science, which brings logical and proven evidence for all its claims. But when it comes to the most fundamental questions, like the essence of humanity or the purpose of life, it simply shrugs and says, "I don't know." So humanity is left with two voices and to different calls. One promises heaven and hell, while the other offers nothing but randomness and a meaningless universe. One speaks with certainty and confidence, while the other can only say, "Maybe we'll find out later." This conflict ignites a volcano deep inside the questioning human soul. Some nights, when we lay our heads on the pillow, a strange fear creeps in. What if we don't wake up tomorrow morning? What if, after death, just as the prophets said, we rise again and every single one of our deeds is placed before us? Every mistake and wrongdoing we committed in our lives, all the lies we told, the deceit, the betrayals, and the harm we caused others, and every injustice we committed against ourselves and against others? When all of this is recorded and handed back to us, what might happen to us then? When there's no refuge to hide in and no one to defend us, what fate will we face? Have you ever thought about this part? This is the very nightmare that robs modern humans of sleep. The modern human, who redefined themselves with the slogans of humanity and freedom, and who takes pride in the technological achievements of the West. How can they digest its double standards? A Western world that preaches friendship and justice, yet sells bombs and weapons, wages wars, and spills the blood of innocents. If the world is truly meaningless and ownerless, why does injustice feel so unbearable to us? Isn't it true that in nature, hunting and being hunted is the very basis of survival? Then why does man, unlike nature, protest and demand justice? Could this thirst for justice be a sign of something greater planted within humanity? Science says human beings are the product of blind evolution. But if that's true, why does that same human heart carry an insatiable hunger to question and to know? Why, instead of resting in meaninglessness, do we constantly ask, what is the purpose of life and existence? And so, here we stand before two great paths. Either the universe is purposeful, designed by a creator who gave mankind a mission, or the universe is blind and meaningless, with no purpose beyond what we create for ourselves. In the first case, death is not the end, it's a bridge to another stage. But in the second, death is the final point of silence with no return. But choosing between these two is not easy. Religion gives life hope and meaning, but under the shadow of fanatic interpretations, it has been turned into a weapon of violence and war. On the other hand, science has pushed aside ignorance and dogma, bringing enlightenment, but its realm is limited only to the material world. And it honestly admits it does not have the final and absolute answers to everything. So, which is the final choice? Who really knows? Perhaps there is a third way. In the words of Saurabh Sipari, the Iranian poet, One must wash the eyes. One must see differently.